Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do kind of a little bit more of a laid back video. Mama didn't really have time to get ready, didn't really feel like it, but I really wanted to sit down and film this video with you guys. If you hear yelling and screaming and banging in the background, it's because my kids are outside playing and it's a really nice day, and I just wanted to sit down and film. Because I don't feel like I've actually done a video like this, or if I have, it's like a really old one. Also, if you hear a rooster, so there's probably going to be a lot of background noise, and the baby's sleeping, so I may actually get up and go get the baby. So today we're going to talk a little bit about increasing your supply, things you can do to increase your supply, things you can take to increase your supply, does it actually work, and what I do to increase my supply or keep my supply. One of the biggest things that I get asked is, how do I increase my supply? What do I do to increase my supply? Can I take these special teas, these cookies? Do galactagogues actually work? And it's kind of a loaded answer because it's sort of a yes and no, and there's also a lot of controversy with it. Studying for my IBCLC, there are a lot of galactagogues that they are effective in increasing your milk supply. It's kind of a double-edged sword, which is irritating because I feel like for some people galactagogues have really worked well, and for some people galactagogues haven't, and they're like, it doesn't work. And I do want to make a disclaimer that this is for breastfeeding. This can also go with pumping, but some of it is going to be more generated towards breastfeeding, so if it kind of doesn't seem to make sense, I'll try and like put some extra stuff for pumping in there too. One of the first things you want to do is you just want to take out the milk. That's either by nursing or pumping. So the more you nurse, the more milk you're going to make. The more you pump, the more milk you're going to make. That being said, you could have a supply issue, and even by doing those things, you may not yield enough milk, but it is pretty rare to have a low milk supply. I guess it's about like 3% of the population of breastfeeding women would have a low supply, where a lot of it is just kind of a technical thing. So other things kind of play parts in it. It's not just that you have a low supply, there's other things that are affecting the supply. You want to feed on demand, always offering the breast, and if you're pumping, you want to pump on a rigid schedule, and you want to make sure that you drain those breasts while pumping for at least 30 to 40 minutes to really make sure that you're getting all of the milk out of there. Another really good thing is, while pumping, is to massage and also use heat. For nursing, you can also massage. That really helps as well. Offering both sides during the nursing session helps. And again, just always offering the breast and feeding on demand whenever baby wants to eat. If you're having a really sleepy baby, that is going to affect your supply, so you definitely want to either reach out to a local lactation consultant and figure out why baby is being so sleepy, but ultimately you want to wake up that baby and make sure that during the day they are feeding a lot. At night, if they're napping, I'm not saying to wake them up then, but I'm saying during the day you want to get more nursing sessions, and the same with pumping. You want to get more pumping sessions in during the day. As for like galactagogues and things that you can eat or take, I really recommend goat's rue. So as a lactation consultant and as somebody who's studying to get their IBCLC, I've read a lot of research about goat's rue being really effective in bringing up milk supply. That being said, it can take about 12 days, even longer, for your milk supply to increase while you're taking a galactagogue. So a galactagogue is usually like a supplement. So fenugreek, goat's rue, some of those herbal teas that you see, or the mother's milk tea. I really think that the mother's milk tea is really good at increasing your supply, or at least helping with milk flow. You guys know that I've also talked about the legendary milk products. I have seen increases in supply in those. The hard thing is that they're like a combined galactagogue, so you're not really sure which herb is actually helping you. So I suggest to always start with one herb at a time. So if you're gonna try a galactagogue, try goat's rue for a month and see if that works. If that doesn't work, try fenugreek or some of the other galactagogues, and I can link some of them down below too. because some people respond differently to different herbs. So some people respond really good to the fenugreek, other people respond really good to the goat's rue. I would definitely try the goat's rue, and I would just try it like just by itself in the capsule. You can get them on Amazon, you can get them at your local co-op kind of store. They work really well at helping to increase supply. As for like cookies and, you know, like the protein type of stuff, I haven't really found too much luck with the protein stuff, honestly, or those like, or the powdered shakes. They taste horrible. I mean, that could just be me, but I did try one a couple of weeks ago. I think I posted it on my Instagram, and I did notice an increase in my supply, but it tasted so bad. I'll link it down below because I can't remember the name of it. And I did actually reach out to the company, or they actually reached out to me, and they gave me a couple recipes to try with it. So I do have to kind of like tweak it a little bit more and try it. Thank you. Okay. So, you know, I kind of have to like tweak it a little and figure out, but again, those have like multiple things in them, so it's kind of hard for me to be like, oh, well, which one of those supplements actually helped my supply. As for like cookies, I really do think that cookies and like those types of things actually can increase your supply, because you're also increasing your calorie intake, which is good for breastfeeding and pumping. And I don't really feel like the cookies can hurt. Because number one, they're yummy, and number two, cookies just make us feel good, and that releases oxytocin, which also helps with milk flow. So that's kind of like my personal thing as like a lactation consultant. For what I do for cookies is I get like those bagged mixes of, I'll like put a picture of it over here, of cookie mix, and I just add oats, I add flaxseed, and you can add brewer's yeast, but I've noticed that if I add it to any of my stuff, I kind of have like an overgrowth of yeast anyways, just in my system. So it'll like reactivate that, and then like I kind of get yeast on my breasts, and it's just no fun. So I don't really suggest the yeast, but if you don't have any issues with it, you can definitely try brewer's yeast. And then I also add like, I can't ever remember the name, I will put a picture of it here, but I also add that. I mix everything together, and I also substitute out, if it calls for like milk or water, I also put oat milk in it. And I feel like they do increase my supply. I do eat the cookies. As for like buying them off of like certain websites and stuff, I was buying those Mother's Milk cookies, and I do feel like they did help, but then in the long run, they were really expensive. Just kind of keeping up with that, where I can just sort of like buy this $2 cookie bag and then just add other ingredients to it, and it makes a really good lactation cookie. So that's what I do. I can leave like kind of the ingredients down below for you guys if you're interested in that. I also have done it to pancake mix, like anything that's, you know, kind of that you can like mix up. I'll like sort of add the flaxseed in there. And flaxseed's really good for you too. For like a pumping tip on how to increase your supply, this would also go for breastfeeding too, is power pumping. And so a lot of people have heard of power pumping, but they don't really know what it is. And it's really helpful. I really should be doing more of it. But what you do is you sit down and you pump for 20 minutes, and then you rest for 10 minutes. Then you pump for another 10 minutes, you rest for 10 minutes. Then you pump for another 10 minutes, then you rest for 10 minutes. And you're supposed to do that for about an hour, which as a mom, that's hard to do. So like right now, I probably should be power pumping. My biggest advice on when to do the power pumping is at night, after you've put them down for bed, or like right after you've put them down for a nap. You can try it. Nighttime is a really good time to power pump. Do not expect to get a lot of milk. What it does is it's just supposed to stimulate your body like your baby is having a growth spurt, and it's supposed to help kickstart your body into thinking that the baby's having a growth spurt, I need to make more milk, and therefore it yields more milk. And you want to do that for at least a week. Even like you can even do it every day and kind of see if that just helps keep your supply up if you're somebody that does have a low supply. I know for me, like it does really help my supply if I do it every other day. It definitely is hard to find time, but I really encourage people to power pump. Also, make sure that you have a really good flange size. You want to make sure that your flange size is as perfect as it can be, because if it's too big or if it's too small, you're not going to be getting enough milk, and you're going to be getting discomfort, which then will not yield a lot of milk, because if you're in pain, you're not going to relax enough at the pump. Another thing that I did want to just kind of mention to you guys that I thought was interesting that I completely forgot about now that I'm nursing and pumping is that when you're breastfeeding and pumping, when you're actually pumping, you really only have to pump for like 5 to 10 minutes to yield like a full just pumping session, because your milk flow is so much faster that you don't have to sit down and pump for as long. And it was just funny to me because I was thinking about it the other night when I was pumping. I was like, wow, I'm like already done, and it's only been like 8 minutes on this side, where normally I would have to wait like 30 minutes, 40 minutes for it to be completely drained. But because I'm breastfeeding, my milk flow is just a lot better with his saliva on there and him just like stimulating me better. Oh, sounds like he might be waking up. To sort of recap on what we were chatting about, to increase your supply, you really just want to take out as much milk as you can, nurse on demand, pump on a good schedule if you can, keep your water intake up, your calories up. You can definitely try those lactation cookies. I would suggest trying some of the galactagogues, but like I said, start with just one at a time and see if that helps increase your supply. And those proteins, I honestly feel like they're kind of a waste of money. Like, they're really expensive. They're usually like $50 to $60 for like a little tub. And I think you can get away with not using those if you make sure you have a healthy diet and you're pumping and breastfeeding well. The best thing that you really can do is just take out more milk. Just taking out more milk will signal your body to make more milk. If you're like waiting till your breasts get really big and then you're pumping, that's actually turning off the system and telling your breast to make less milk. Because when you take out more milk, or like say you've just breastfed and you want to pump, that's actually the perfect time to stimulate your breast even more, because now you're taking out even more milk. And so when you don't have a lot of milk in your breasts, they kind of go into like hyperdrive, and they're just like, okay, we gotta make more milk. And so they start like really making more milk really fast, where like as it starts filling up and your breasts start getting harder and bigger, that's when it starts slowing down. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, you really just want to take out that milk and keep breastfeeding on demand, and reach out to your local lactation consultant or myself if you're having breastfeeding or pumping issues. I would love to help you. I hope that this video helped you with your milk supply, and I would love to hear if it did. Please comment down below and give this video a like, and I will see you guys in my next.